The Glasgow Humane Society is the oldest practical life-saving organisation in the world. It was founded in 1790. In the 1850s it came into the Geddes family, and there was a George Geddes who his son took over another George Geddes, and in 1928 he was drowned out here trying to rescue someone, and the day he got drowned, my father, who had been hanging around the boats and doing rescues and helping for the last 10 years, he just moved into Mr. Geddes' house that night. The day my father died, word doesn't get out right away that had happened, and police officers phoned that day because there had been an incident downriver that they wanted investigated, and you just had to do it. So I just went to the boat and went away downriver and carried on. You know, I just took over automatically. There was nothing else you can do. Just a fait accompli. You arrive there and you do it. You know?
Well, the main role of the Glasgow Humane Society comes under basically three headings, which is rescue, recovery and prevention. Rescue of persons drowning from the waters of around the greater Glasgow area, recovery of those who have drowned in the waters, and prevention of people entering or drowning in the waters.
All the rescues are very, very satisfying. And the most recent thing that has been most satisfying has been actually getting a lot of safety work done around the river. The council has taken a lot of pressurising a lot of work. We've set up a safety committee, and for example, we take down next to the weir, we now have a fence there. Now there's literally been dozens and dozens of people drowned at that locus, before we put the fence. We're putting in new quay wall ladders, and when we were a working port, the quay wall ladder only went down so far in the quay wall, and below that what we call were dogs. It was like just big staples that only went, they were put half into the water, so there was a little bit sticking out, and you could climb that. And it was the workmen themselves that just knocked them in with a hammer when they were moving, when they were going up the ladder. So what you found in the harbour was, because the workmen weren't there anymore, the ladders were stopping 6 foot short of the water at low tide. So if you fell in at that point, you couldn't get out, even if it was an accident. So the council are going around now and putting all these ladders in, and again, that can be very, very satisfying.
We also have a lot of rowing regattas on the Clyde. Some quite big regattas. Some regattas draw maybe up to 100 boats. We don't give a safety cover for that because, on account of being on a 24-hour call-out service for the police, it's impossible for us to give a full-time safety cover, but we do give an additional safety cover. With that, we've set up a voluntary lifeguard corps, which is mainly made up of canoeists, members of the various rowing clubs on the Clyde.
Well, the lifeguard corps does the safety for most of the regattas and head races that are held in the Clyde, which basically involves 5 or 6 safety boats positioned up the course, which are big, stable kind of tub boats with 2 people in them, with space to get 2 or 3 more in if anything bad happened. And they're mostly kind of manned by Strathclyde Uni students, because we're obviously quite good links with George. We're obviously more than happy to help out when we're not racing.
It was a strange feeling when I was told that I'd been awarded the MBE. My father had got the equivalent of that, what was then the British Empire Medal, and he wouldn't leave Glasgow. He got it from the Lord Provost up in the City Chambers, but they managed to persuade me to go to Holyrood House. It's a strange thing because you're receiving it on behalf of all the officers that have gone before you, but all the, what I call the background group, all the police officers that help you, and all the people in the council and the friends, people walking down the banks. It's a general recognition for what the lifeboat has done. You've got to learn to work with the river and against the river, and got to be very careful with it. As we say, the river can be a good friend, but it can be a terrible master if you let it control you. You've got to have an incredible respect for it, almost a fear for it.